And this happened because we played Pictionary, which is the drawing game. And I hate Pictionary because I'm competitive and I want to win. And every time I play Pictionary, I get teamed up with like the idiot that can't draw. Like they get a clue like ice cream cone and they mess that up somehow. They draw this squiggly thing on the board and just point at it for 60 seconds. Like, what am I playing with, Scooby-Doo? Raggy! And I'm like, dude, draw something, draw anything, like help me out. So instead of drawing more, they just circle it really fast, like, hey. Like, hey, thanks for helping out, Da Vinci, you know? And then whenever it's my turn to draw, I get like the worst possible things to draw. They get all the easy stuff like door or window. I get up there, I get words like viral meningitis. Like, come on! I don't even know the symptoms. All right, I got a guy bleeding out of the eyes. Does this help anybody? Come on, he's bleeding out of the eyes! Viral meningitis! I was gonna stop doing that joke a few years ago because it's an old joke, but true story, a few years ago I ended up getting viral meningitis. So now that I know that my jokes come true, I'm gonna do material about winning the lottery. I played tonight. And I have friends who are like, if I won $100 million, nobody would know I won. And I'm the opposite. If I won $100 million, everybody would know. I would buy ads on TV of me counting my money like, hey! Well, the names of like exes and people who didn't like me went scrolling by in the back. They're getting none of it, none of it.
Anyways, when you're dating, women will give you hints, you know? They'll give you hints. They'll drop hints like crazy. Like my wife goes, I hope whoever asked me to marry them is original. Now, I proposed to my wife during a game of Pictionary. I thought it was original. I thought it was romantic. Her, not so much, okay? So here we are. Mind you, I'm a comedian, okay? So Pictionary is like charades, except you have to draw it on a board and they have to guess what it is. I drew a church plus a ring plus people. But this is the biggest day of my life, asking my wife to marry, and I was so nervous, I forgot to put the cross on the church. So my wife's sitting there guessing, pawn shop, yard sale, flea market. And I got mad, I go, no, it's will you marry me? Now, let me just say she's Latina, okay? Let me throw that out there. She goes, oh, you mean to tell me you're queen? That you're asking me to marry you during a game of Pictionary? Ooh, where's our honeymoon? Candyland? She bought me that game, sorry, because she said that's what I was. And if I do that again, I'll be playing Uno. Does anybody know what that means? I'm still trying to figure that one out.
But I read this thing, a friend of mine who's Mormon is like, yeah, we have a family night, we play games. I'm like, well, my family played, did you guys ever play Pictionary? Did you ever play that game? If you didn't, it's a game where you try to draw with a golf pencil like you have a hoof hand, and while everybody screams at you until you almost go into cardiac arrest. It's a really fun game. But I'd love to play with my dad because he was the guy who would draw. He couldn't really draw, but he felt like if he pointed enough at what he had drawn, that everybody should know exactly what he drew. As if Da Vinci had to be like, oh, it's a girl, it's a woman. My dad would draw for like 3 seconds. He'd draw like 2 circles and something that looked like hash browns. Throw away the pencil, and for the rest of the time, he's like, Dad, why don't you draw something else? Because I don't have to! You just look harder! You know, is it bacon? No! Just look harder! Time's up. It's Chuck Norris! How could you not see that when I was pointing and waving? has a lot of energy. Man, I'm not used to it.
Now, a lot of comics, they get up here and they bash marriage and they rip their wives. It's a very popular thing to do. It can be very funny. I get that. I really don't do that. I am married myself. I love my wife. She's absolutely incredible. And with all the stuff going on, it's very comforting for me in the world. You know, all these people getting divorced. It's very comforting for me. I know that we will never get divorced, ever. You want to know how I know that? We don't own anything worth fighting over. What are we going to divorce over? Our thrift store couch? It'd be the worst divorce ever. You're going to load that thing up and haul it off when you leave here. No, I loaded that piece of junk up once and brought it here. I'm not loading it back up again. Still got a cut on my leg from the spring that shoots through the bottom of it. I'm not touching it. The only time that I was ever worried that something like that might possibly happen to us is anytime she wants to play board games. Now, my wife is very competitive. So am I. That doesn't work out. Let me explain something to you fellas. You beat your wife 3 times in a row playing Connect 4. You're going to be connecting with the couch later on. Just the way life works out. But she had some people over one night. She said, hey, you know what we should do? Let's play a game. Yeah, that's a good idea. We haven't hated each other yet today. Let's do that. And she goes to the closet and she brings out the game Pictionary. I'm not going to belabor you guys with all the rules to Pictionary, but the last square on the board is called All Play. Whenever anybody's on that square, everybody draws the same word at the same time. Whichever team screams it out first wins. My turn to draw. For the win, look at the word gorilla. I can't draw a gorilla. But what I can do is this. I can draw a tree where she will guess tree. I will draw a banana in the tree. She will guess banana. And then I'm going to draw something in the tree hanging on to the banana. It looks like it's got a head and a tail and a foot. And she's going to go, monkey. And I'm going to give her this sign. And she's going to click down to gorilla. That's the way it's playing in my head. For the win, gorilla, tree, banana, chimpanzee, chimpanzee, and I know what's getting ready to happen. I'm starting to sweat. I can feel my pulse pick up a little bit, you know. It's not a chimpanzee? No. It isn't. Chimp, that's the same thing. Can't just shorten the word. And then you just lose your mind, start arguing with everybody. Tell well, Chad, you're not supposed to talk during Pictionary. Does it look like we're helping each other out over here? It took you 45 seconds to get light bulb. How about you worry about your own game? We end up losing. Of course. My fault. Of course. She asked me, goes, what was it? It was a gorilla. Chad, doesn't look like a gorilla. You're right, it doesn't. It doesn't look like a chimpanzee. You guess that 14 times. We got in an argument last winter over a puzzle. Do you know the amount of love and passion you have to have for another human being to be able to argue over a puzzle? I was coming in off the road, bad winter storm getting ready to hit where we live. Get in, garage door comes down, everybody's in, everybody's safe. Okay? Now this is going to be our time together. She turns on the Christmas lights, snow, big flakes, just starting to drift, very Norman Rockwell-ish looking kind of thing. We turn off the phones, turn off the TVs. There's no one else in the world at that moment except for her and me. And I dump out this puzzle. Now, I know the first thing about putting together a puzzle is that you have to flip over the pieces where they're right side up. And I know that because I'm somebody that was raised by people. And I start flipping over all these pieces, and I hear my wife say, hey, I got one. What? I got one. Well, we need to flip over all the pieces first. I just thought I'd go ahead and start. You need to start by helping me flip over all the pieces. So we can do this together. Which is why we spent $8 at Dollar General in the first place. Well, I just need a little bit more yellow. Yeah, it probably looks brown because once again, all the pieces aren't flipped over yet. Fine, flip, flip. Now she's mad flipping, flip, 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 flip. We get them all flipped. I was like, okay, let's find out the edge piece. I don't want to start on the edge. I want to start in the middle. What are you, a serial killer who starts in the middle of a puzzle?